from the government, and I'm here to help.
Take a look, it's in a book.
Some members of the community use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda.
Let's watch Figure It Out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is another great fucking episode. We Figured It Out podcast. We are the End of Days Best Friends. We have a TikTok now, bitches. Go find it. I'm your boy, Michael.
And I'm Matt.
And also close to 100 subscribers still on YouTube, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 100. Somebody could be 100, right?
Yeah.
We'll send them
more than we
stickers.
have like one per episode so far, right?
We're pretty close. We need to catch up a little bit. That's not bad though. You're not wrong. You got to start somewhere, right?
Start small, man.
Start small. And 100. You if you're our 100th subscriber and we get you out there, we'll fucking send you like a t-shirt and a sticker or some shit. We got t-shirts and stickers, so it'll work. You know,
I got to thinking we should have street teamed it a little bit more at the concert.
Fuck.
Could have just had everybody like hooked up with a sticker on their back.
Just
go to the
while
mosh pit and start
just throw it like money. That's actually a pretty good idea. We're fucking retarded for not doing that, huh?
Well, let's find another one.
I mean, you live and you learn.
Mm-hmm.
The concert too, it's a good segue, you know, the date, the 24th. We went the 25th, but I want to talk about some things on the 24th because we went to the concert for celebrating you. It's your birthday month.
Yeah.
And there's things all over. So I was like, you know what? There's got to be stuff we can find that happened in this month. And then I found there was a lot of things just on the same day in the month. So I was like, fuck it. We're going to go with that date.
Dude, this month is crazy. Like when I lived in Fort Collins, like it happened that like my roommate from Iraq had like a birthday that was a few days ahead of mine. And then it was St. Patty's Day. No, then my other roommate had his birthday there, then St. Patty's Day. And then our other buddy who was kind of homeless that moved in and like was couch surfing, his birthday was...
How are you kind of homeless? Like you either have a fucking home or you don't, right?
His mom, he gave her power of attorney while he was gone. And she jacked all his money when he got back and then kicked him out.
Damn, power of attorney? All I got was fucking rabbits when Roman dipped.
Yeah, dude. So he came back broke and then she kicked him out. So, yeah. So he was kind of like, I mean, we were already kind of like too many. Like having 3 people was like all we could have on our lease, you know? So it was like, you can
that's
stay
like
here for
zero
a minute,
sympathy.
You know?
Yeah. But you're like, I'm not trying to fucking be homeless, dude.
Right? Yeah. Like, I don't want to end up homeless because, like, you have, like, mail coming here and everybody's going to be like, somebody's going to figure it out and be like, hey, you guys got a 4th person here.
Shout out the podcast. Yeah, they will. They'll catch on quick. Especially your landlord, dude. He'll be like, the fucking usage. And I see another person.
Yeah.
Damn, just leave him out in the dumps like that, though. Just know he's broke and still kick him out.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, sometimes things just go bad, you know, and they go bad too.
Yeah. And then
maybe it is the date.
He was the one who like later did go smoke himself. So
that's terrible. R.I.P. to that.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, I get where he was at though, but like, I guess, I mean, I didn't think he was suicidal about it, you know? Like, I knew times were hard, but I didn't think they were like,
you could still
over. Like, the dude was always, fuck it,
mm-hmm.
you know? Like,
if it got so bad that you were going to have to do that, like, I would just be like, fuck it, dude, I'm free now. I'm going to go live on a beach.
Right? If you're
I'm not sweating it anymore.
Slumming in your car, you know? Like, shit.
Even if you're not slumming in your car, fucking... You know, the old thumb method.
Yeah.
You know.
But Yeah, dude, the
Anywho,
concert. Anyways.
I know we should have thrown all our shit around and done the whole good thing.
Yeah.
It was a good part. We could add that to this list of dates now when we're done here. We'll throw on, Slaughter to Prevail, Attila, and fucking Whitechapel.
Dude, I
Shout
have
out all three of
a
them.
lot more Attila than I thought I did. I was like, oh, I have a lot of Attila on my playlist.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude. I was like, when you looked and I looked, I was like, I'm pretty sure we listened to a shitload of these guys. They're just he was
Dude,
singing
it
so
was just
fast.
so loud and he was singing so fast. Like I didn't like realize
Mhm.
like some of those songs were his songs. And then I was like, okay, yeah, now that like they I was like, okay, now it makes sense.
Like his iconic little witch sounding voice too with his scream. That's how you can tell it's Attila,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the Meet Me in the Mosh Pit song. Duh.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like a dead giveaway. But like I was like thinking like because they didn't have anything that said like Attila up either.
No. It was sick
It
though.
was yeah, like their
I
parental
knew
advisory thing, but
I knew it was Attila when he came out like the death metal Post Malone. He literally looked like Post Malone, but like death metal. And I guess if you just threw that doesn't really make sense, now that I think about it, because if you just threw fucking metal behind Post Malone, he looks death metal,
it kind of does.
all
I don't know.
tattooed up and like
All you
country.
guys being different and the same. It's adorable.
You're all you guys. What are you talking?
I don't look like all of you guys. I'm wearing a white t-shirt the next concert
That's
just to
true.
be different, unlike all of you guys.
I know we
Black.
should wear like
That way you don't lose me
Care
again.
Bears. I won't. Yeah, if you wore white, I could find you. That's such a good point.
Leave me alone in the mosh pit with all the tweakers.
Matt's average height too, so just everybody that he's around, it's a C of the same height
I'm
everywhere.
below the average height, so it's all these guys that are just barely over the top of me.
yeah, you're like the whack-a-mole, just barely down below. Yeah, days are. Anywho, right? I want to talk about. Let's start it off. March 24th, right? There's dates and things happen, and I was like, we could find fucking specific stuff here, and then it turns out there's like historical specific stuff more so on that day than kind of any other. And I'm not going to sit here like and be like, oh yeah, there's some fucking weird significance to it. It ain't going to be like that. So don't worry about that. We're not going to be like, oh yeah, there's magic behind it or anything like that, There's just a couple crazy stories, and since it's your birthday month, I'd found, try to dig deep on things that you hadn't probably heard about. I know you've heard of some of these, but some you haven't. First, I want to start with like the oldest prison break in modern war, and it was launched on the night of March 24th, 1994, but it was kind of like the second attempt, actually, but it's called the Stalag Luft, the third, and 200 men tried to escape like a Nazi camp, from the Germans. And it gets kind of crazy. It started with 200 of them, only 76 got out before an alarm went off. And it like kind of gets pretty nasty after that. We're going to get into it anyways. So if you move back to Ohio, back on March 24th in like 1832, okay, we're going to go over some Joseph Smith tarring and feathering. We're going to hit that. And then I also wrote down the Covenant Sword and Arm there back in like 1985 in March. And then I want to talk about NATO beginning the bombing of Yugoslavia. Right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. These all happen right there. Same date. Different years. All kind of, dude, like pretty close gaps apart too. It's almost like every 10 or 30 years. Anywho. But let's go back and start with fucking the Great Escape, okay? Here we go. I wrote my notes out here. Okay, so these prisoners, right? It's going to become the most famous thing. They make a fucking movie about it, right? The Great Escape. And it's a German prisoner of war camp in the Second World War. And it's not like they broke through some fence and they knew what they were doing. This took, dude, like time and planning that we're going to have to go over. And it had been, this place had been designed, dude, that like you couldn't escape from it, you know, is kind of how they made the fucking design of the camp. I don't know. Really muddy, you know, tunnels, no ground, no terrain. Let's see here. The huts were raised off the ground and the camp sat on sandy soil. So like if you tried to tunnel, it was difficult and they would detect it because all the sand would start sliding in, you know.
Right.
And they still do, these prisoners were able to build like a machine almost essentially to get the fuck out of here, you know. And the camp itself built to stop tunneling, literally, and the prisoners literally tunneled out of it. Like that was one of the designs of the camps that they tried to make, was to avoid tunneling. And it wasn't just one tunnel, dude. The second fact about this, okay? And this is where it kind of jars people's memories too. It revolved around 3 tunnels and they were called Tom, Dick, and Harry. And I don't know if like I always thought that was like a saying.
Where that came from? Like every Tom, Dick, and Harry knew about it?
It'd have to be, right?
Or
we should ask Google that. You should Google that right now while I read. But I mean, I feel like it jogs everybody's memories when we hear that shit, you know, so you should figure out what the fuck we know that from. The 3 tunnels were like an internal network of planning, forgery, clothing production, dirt disposal, lookout systems, and then they used like compartmentalized work. And it took more than 600 prisoners, dude, to set this up. 17th
century English.
So before that.
Yeah, because they were the most common names of the time. Like,
why do you think they call, okay, Google why they called it the Tom, Dick, and Harry Tunnel. I feel like that might get us closer to what we're looking for. There's got to be some significance. Anywho, there were over 600 prisoners involved in this. Third fact about this thing that I'd written down. The scale was enormous, dude. Their plan, they wanted to escape over 200 of these 600 people that had put in effort, and that's why there were 3 tunnels. They were hoping 200 a piece per tunnel, I think, type of thing. In reality, 76 of them were able to get through the tunnel before the operation was kind of discovered.
They did it because of the Tom, Dick, and Harry saying.
Just to prove a point.
Because like they wouldn't understand like a saying. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Germans.
Things in French that we wouldn't understand, you know.
I get it. Like cat's got your tongue type thing.
Yeah.
A saying. Okay. And people would know. They'd be like, I don't eat the Chinese food. Right?
Yeah.
The mastermind most associated with the operation was Roger Bushell, and he was known as Big X, which is pretty tight, you know, Big X the plug. Shout out Houston rap, I guess. I don't know. You know, side tangent here real quick. I wonder if he like knew history, Big X the plug, the rapper, and he's like, oh man, this guy helped people escape. Maybe that's why they call me Big X, because I'm escaping the hood. Anywho, I also, when I was reading my like chapters of the Bible yesterday that I try to do all the time, it was on Paul being arrested. And they make the significance, right, that he's arrested with 2 chains. And I was like, do you think the rapper 2 Chainz knows that Paul was arrested in like a symbolic Roman way, you know, with 2 chains, that he had absolutely no hope to escape? Like kind of how prophecy was. I was like, I wonder if rappers know that stuff when they put it out there.
I wonder.
Yeah,
They're that philosophical about it.
Yeah.
Or just lucky.
I mean, they are fucking smart, you know, they're millionaires. They're not stupid. Well, moving on. I don't want to cancel this episode yet. We're only on the first segment. Okay, anyways,
So
Big X.
Kanye, right?
Yeah, so I was hitting up Kanye. Okay, so Big X, right? He believed that escape was not just about the personal freedom, but about he was trying to also divert the manpower of the Germans and their resources. He thought if he could get 3 tunnels and like 600 prisoners out, you know, it would take a lot of shit to come find them, or, you know, just efforts.
Right.
It's not a bad idea. You know, that's thinking further than just getting out too. That's a Big X must have been like a something, you know,
Yeah.
had some sort of training or something to know that. Like, we got to do more than just get out of here, you know, which is
That's like
crazy
part
too. And
of
it,
like, I mean, you get briefings on that stuff too. Like that's your job is to I mean, your chain of command is still the same. So like your officers are still in charge and like your job is to continue
even as
to
prisoners of
try
war,
to escape. Yeah. That's your job is to
ah,
continue to try to escape.
that's true. Why wouldn't you ever quit, right?
Yeah.
You'd be like, dude, I'm fucking trying to get home. I got
What are
training
they
here.
gonna do? Beat me again?
Well, yeah, right. Shove bamboo up my fucking fingernails.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't even say that. Um, Fifth fact, okay? The escape began on the night of March 24th, 1920 or 1944. But because it ran past midnight, the accounts like to place like a lot of it going down on the 25th as well. You know, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
In
can
the
get like
middle of
a
the night, like, what time
that's
was
how
it? You know?
history, yeah. I know. I like to point that out that history likes to leave it open, you know.
Mhm.
We're gonna put holes in it here just right off the bat. I
Right.
don't think there's a hole in it though, you know, but they place it as like a night raid, you know, and I thought that was interesting. It makes more sense though, you know. People are probably slipping at night. There, even if you had rotating shifts, you got the cover of darkness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really,
And
that's the
like
only
and
advantage you'd think.
you and like they probably went by like the lunar cycle at that time too, would be my guess. Like, I mean, you know when it's gonna be dark, you know?
Your eyeballs can fucking tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. You
um
go outside. I mean, what else were you doing? You know, but observing everything.
mhm. So they said it, you know, like it's cool, March 24th again, you know, that's it, the pop off of it. Um the first participant, right, Bushell, his perspective, dude, he he created like a planning culture for it. And the National Archives and RAF Museum, they have material that like centers him as the driving intelligence behind the breakout. Like he's featured in museums, so he's real, you know. He, I mean, he deserves that though too. I feel like, um, organizing the resistance. You know, that's you had to have somebody to start that. Whether or not that's how when it started as 200 with a plan to 600 working there and only 76 made it. It was because he still had organized the resistance. You know, there was still, like you said, the group was still had its culture, you know, on its own and its jobs and its ability to be like, we're not fucking dead yet, you know, and
Yeah.
that doesn't exist if you don't have him.
Right.
You know, you're all just sitting through there like, oh, I guess we're fucking dying. Um, the prisoners, right, collectively tell the story also through like what they built. Um, they forged the papers. They sewed their own civilian looking clothes, you know, made hidden entrances to bring things in, used air pumps and like sand dispersal cones so you couldn't tell that really sand was being piled up in places. They had a
Right.
famous
Because I
method.
mean, like, because you think about it, like, I mean, you gotta, what's that movie, The Rock? Where the, no,
Shawshank.
Shawshank, yeah, Shawshank, where he's got to like like shake out the rocks every day out of his
Out of his folded like fucking jeans. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. They made dude, it's actually famous and it's called the penguin method, and it was for disposing of tunnel sand, and they shook it through trouser legs. So
Makes sense.
that's maybe where Shawshank got it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and the Imperial, that's hard to say, War Museum actually preserves like a photograph of these soldiers at the end demonstrating how to do it. And it shows like, dude, that's pretty good improvisation. If all else fails, you're like, dude, we're just going to put dirt on us and shake it off.
Right.
That's willingness. Um, the IWM, so the Imperial War Museum image has Sergeant Major Herman Glemnitz demonstrating the sand dispersal setup. And so like the Germans knew, you know, if they had pictures after this thing was done of people showing to demonstrate how to do it to them, it's almost like the Germans were aware of it, you know, they knew what they were fucking doing, but they just didn't stop it. How do you know their techniques? You're like, ah, they're out there shaking sand. That's kind of a weird fact I'd found.
I think maybe the after the fact, maybe. I don't know. Thought it was all
Yeah,
just blow sand, like I don't know. Here in like Colorado, you get like a lot of blow sand that just piles up in random places too,
I
you know
guess
what I'm
that
saying?
makes sense too. He's like the investigator after, you know, and he's like, no, this happened. But that's, dude, to think that's how they were doing it and to understand that, he
Yeah.
probably did just realize, nah, man, they were always shaking their fucking pants.
Yeah, like thinking back, like hindsight's 2020, right? Like,
He's like,
oh
damn, they
yeah.
got me. They
Yeah, they
fucking
were
got
always doing
me.
that. Yeah.
Um,
Time to go eat my cyanide pill.
right? Yeah, I guess it does say here, right? In the museum, these pictures and this demonstrations and stuff show that the Germans knew afterwards just how elaborately they had been deceived. Damn. Um,
My
so
squad's
the
in a museum. I
is
thought
it
that was
really?
cool. Yeah.
Which one?
So I'm old enough to be in a museum, bro. I would have to look it up, but
Does your
yes,
daughter know that?
not yet. I'm never gonna give her that ammunition.
Okay. I'm gonna tell her. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Anywho, I do have the wiki pulled up on this too that we can kind of little read some notes from. The Commonwealth War Graves Commission's history, which must be another like museum or something, right? They emphasize how many men out of these 600 dude were just working in shifts. Um, they have like pictures and remembrance nights of like months, dude, of labor, right? So of the moments where these guys they had to hide that shit or like it went wrong and they had to restart, you know?
Yeah, you guys, you'd have guys digging like all the time, but you're covering for their absence, basically. Like, that,
Absolutely, right?
that's crazy.
So, I mean, we should. I wonder where those two museums are: the Imperial War Museum and the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. That's pretty wild. Um, the memory, right? There's like memories of this. If you ask veterans and stuff, it shows with all that too, and you can see that there's like murdered ones and sad ones,
Dude,
happy
that's kind of
ones
crazy.
getting
Like
out.
you get to thinking about it, like all those World War II vets are like gone. You know, the last few are alive now, dude.
Almost 100 years old
Yeah,
from the war. So that
yeah.
means they got to be like 120. Well, when do you go to war? 16?
Yeah, some went 15, 16. Like
Yeah,
they
so
they lied
damn
about
near.
their age a lot just to go.
That's
And then you get to
crazy.
Vietnam and there is a draft.
Yeah, people are like, fuck that.
Yeah.
um, let's see here. Okay. Right. So let's talk about how they break out. Okay. And it's in the winter. It's the middle of the night, dude. Um, they've planned it for fucking months. You know, there's 600 of these people and they're getting ready to escape with 200. They use Harry, the tunnel Harry. Right, I shouldn't just say Harry. It sounds like they're using a person like, we got our slave Harry here. No, tunnel. They use tunnel Harry, okay? Tom had already been discovered by this point, and Dick was repurposed in part as storage and workshop space. They needed these tunnels to eventually it got so big they ran out of room for shit. And then Harry was the only path out at that point. So it still was dog shit though at this point. The exit came up short of the tree line where they were hoping to get out, right? A long, like, mile distance or so.
Yeah.
Miles to get out. And they wanted to get past the
Underneath,
tree
didn't
line.
they have like minefields and stuff around there?
Yes. Yes. There was they had to cross like an exposed ground minefield. And because they ran into that, they had to do it one by one. So it really slowed them down and they weren't like ready for that either. You know, and it's one of the reasons I get probably a lot of them got caught, you know.
Right. Who's that? Machine gun fire?
Yeah, right. Despite one tunnel being discovered and having to fill the other tunnel with all the parts now and like storage and everything like that, they still managed to get 76 people through the first tunnel. It was discovered before 200 could get to it, you know, so only 7. The escape was multinational. It involved allied airmen from different countries, not just like one kidnapped
just
group of soldiers. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. So it was the entire
Soviets group. And
no, not Japanese, not Italian.
England,
French.
English, French. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Allied forces. Gotcha.
That's crazy. Now it's pretty much like nobody we're with. Oh, how the tides have turned.
Yeah, nobody wants to back us up anymore in our fruitless wars.
Yeah, stupid too. Go get your own oil. That's what that motherfucker told him today. I read too. I was reading like on stuff. We'll side tangent here for a second. That Trump was thinking now he's just going to pull out and just let it go.
Right on.
Oh, you better fucking cut gas so goddamn cheap after you just did that to us.
Yeah, and all he did was like give Russia a direct line to us, you know?
I saw some too. They have like footage now of Iran's rockets hitting like American bases. Have you seen that one? And it's fucking like 10 feet away from the soldier who's filming it. He just hides, and then you hear a bunch of other Americans. We're good. Like behind the door that blew up. All good. I'm like, Jesus. Once the alarm spread, there was like instant manhunt. And then everybody was fucked. Right? It was all so those 76, dude, and the crazy part is the 76 think they fucking make it, right? And they don't. They three make it, which is crazy. Out of the entire 200 operation gets discovered, bump to 76, ends with 3 getting out. 50 get murdered by Gestapos after recapture, and then it's like in direct violation, obviously, of law for war, right? What is that called? The Geneva Convention.
Right.
So that killing with these men trying to escape drew enough attention to where the Gestapos ended up being investigated for it. Yeah. And then like the 50 murders were kind of passed through other camps, you know, to make sure people knew not to do that shit. Yeah. It's kind of fucked up. But Bushell, the leader, he was one of the ones killed. Like he didn't make it out. So that's pretty crazy. The dude who almost planned it and like, yeah, kept everybody willing to go through with it, was the one who didn't make it. The National Archives account of Bushell and the wider record of preparations showed just how much of the escape depended on paperwork, clothes, language skills, and route planning. Violence couldn't be the center of the operation. It had to be preparation, is what he said.
Right,
So,
because you can't just go walking around through town because those people are snitches too.
yes, right. They're not, they don't want to die. The crazy part is, dude, with that, right? They knew if they were caught again, the disguises were there because if they were caught again, the embarrassment that POWs got out to like SS Gestapos and officers wasn't going to fly.
Right.
And,
right.
that's why 50 were murdered. I can't believe. So what does that leave? 23? They just let 23 live? That's pretty wild.
Yeah, maybe. Just back in the camp to be like, we spared you. Let your people know. I don't
I
know.
know 3 got out, and like you did survive technically because you didn't die.
Right.
Fuck, that's crazy,
But
dude.
like, I mean, I guess like, did any die in the minefield?
Who knows?
Yeah, because I wonder if those numbers aren't like due to natural causes in between, because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're living like off the land,
A tunnel
essentially.
collapses or some shit.
Yeah, like numerous things that could happen. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I was watching this thing where we had gotten um German POWs and brought them up to the mountains of Colorado. And they had planned an escape, but they were kind of like ended up with like, okay, and go where? Like how
Yeah.
like we make it to Canada and then what? You know?
Yeah. Be the Donner Party again.
Like, yeah. And so they eventually actually just made good friends with the guards that were up there because it was just kind of like survival almost, just chopping down trees and teaching them about like forest mitigation and stuff. And like they had realized like that they were going like scorched earth and like using all of the resources all at once in Germany, and it
Fuck.
scared them like to the point of like, okay, America's not even using all of its resources, it's planning forever.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just like the resources are
Yeah.
gone
Giving it
already,
all right now. Yep.
yeah, it's crazy.
Damn. Damn. And you've seen both sides, so you're just like, fuck.
Yeah, and you're just like, it's not that bad here.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, folks. Look, I made my camera all oily. Anywho,
You
next
did,
one
dude.
I know, I know.
You look
If you're
like a
watching on
ghost.
YouTube, you're
You
about to
look like a
see
ghost.
my
I saw
shirt was
Michael's
lifted.
nipple.
Whoa. Don't say that on the air. Yeah, they are nipples and they're nice nipples, folks. Just kidding. Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Anyhow, on to the next one, okay? This one, fun. We've kind of bumped on the Jehovah Witnesses a couple times. I ain't trying to just always fucking do that, okay? But
They
if
make it
there's not
easy.
if there's an opportunity to do it, we gonna. Let's fucking
Punks
do it,
get
huh?
punked. That's what happens.
That is what happens. All right. So we're gonna move on from fucking 1944 Europe to 1930 or 1832 Ohio in Hiram, is where I'd said earlier. Pretty straightforward fucking event, okay? So Joseph Smith and Sidney Rigdon are attacked by a mob in the Hiram Township of Ohio. And Joseph Smith, they drag him from his bed. It's in the middle of the fucking night because March cool shit happens at night. Okay. They drag him from his bed. He's beat the fuck up, tarred and feathered. Sidney Rigdon also attacked, beat the fuck up too. Okay. There's literal Joseph Smith papers that planned the whole event out, that wrote the whole thing. So The assault happened, and that was fact, on March 24th through the night into March 25th. It took place at the Johnson home where Joseph Smith was staying. We're gonna get into it here. I got a wiki. Or not a wiki. I actually found the thing they're talking about, and we're gonna pull it up. Their little account of it. Sidney Rigdon was attacked too, right? That's the third fact of this. I wrote 5 facts about everyone if you didn't notice by the first one. So, I was like, you know what? Fuck, maybe some people think I'm just making shit up sometimes or winging it, or something. So here we go.
I am winging it. So
Yeah, that's Matt's job, but he's here. It's not really winging it if I'm bringing the prepared literature, right?
Yeah, I'm just the guy listening.
No, you're fucking.
I'm your active audience.
Yeah, exactly. You're the geolocator. Smith preached at Sabbath services the next day, dude, despite being tarred and feathered. I don't know if the Latter-day Saints made that fucking one up, but it's in the papers. The mob,
They haven't made anything up.
yeah. The motive for it is disputed. They can't give a reason for it, really, historically, but they can all agree that it fucking happened. These people want one clean motive because with Joseph Smith, a lot of history is controlled.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's an important thing on this, in the American frontier, though, dude, religion was messy. It was all over the fucking place. There were Indians, there were followers of Joseph Smith. The church was falling apart in other ones, or it was growing in other ones. Rumors were circulating about people practicing occult or witches happening. We had Heidi Levon, who brought up all the stuff where they were in Salem doing witch trial shit and occult stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's messy at that time, and it keeps the whole story we're about to do here, that keeps us honest, knowing that it's not one thing, dude. Anti-Mormon hostility existed then, and it was documented, but the motives, right, and the reasons are crazy. So I'm gonna share, if you don't mind, here for 1 second. Let's see this. When you make a shit like different on your screen and you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at anymore. Yeah,
Dude,
that happens.
updates fuck me up for like a week.
I do that like crazy. Can you see the Joseph Smith tar and feather right here?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to read this thing because this is actually a pretty good one. Well, I'll read it how I read stuff. So sometime in the wee hours of the morning of March 25th, when an infuriated mob exploded through the door of the summer kitchen of the John Johnson home in Hiram, Ohio, they took 26-year-old Joseph Smith and began carrying him out the door. He was on the stoop before he came awake. Struggling, he freed a leg and kicked one of the mobbers in the face, sending him sprawling. Then they jumped on his feet and used their hands, and with his hands all covered in his own blood, he grabbed Joseph by the throat and choked him until he lost consciousness. Here's the crazy part about tar and feathering, right? I didn't know, bro. They fucking beat you and cut you and whip you so that tar fucks you up. You know what I'm saying?
Dang. I did not know that part of it. I just knew that the tar was hot.
Yes. When Joseph revived, he saw his friend and counselor, Sidney Rigdon, stretched out, unmoving on the cold ground. Supposing that Sidney was dead, he asked the mob for mercy. They told him, call on your God for help. And they said, we'll show you no mercy. Men seemed to come from everywhere and join the fray. Would they kill him or just rough him up? The decision was made to hurt him, and that end they proceeded, tearing off all his clothes but his shirt collar. They beat, kicked, and scratched him. One man fell on Joseph like a mad cat and scratched his body with his nails, crying as he did. That's the way the Holy Ghost falls on folks. Really? With nails scratching you? The Holy Ghost ain't gay, dog. Come on, that's some.
He doesn't fight like no bitch.
Right?
I just see like the
Yeah, dude. That's all I picture. I'm like, Holy Ghost ain't fighting like that, dog.
yeah, you fight a little limp-wristed, but
um, someone brought forward a bucket of hot tar, which they then smeared over Joseph's lacerated body, at the same time trying to force the tar paddle into his mouth. He resisted. They tried to force a vial of poison in his mouth, aqua fortis or nitric acid.
dude,
Again,
I'm still just picturing the gay guy, like, just like trying to be like, no, this is the bad guy to all the Christian dudes.
right? You're like, wait, yeah, they're out there tarring and feathering. All of a sudden, they're tarred and feathering this guy, and they see the other motherfucker, and they're like, hold on. Are we
No,
tarring
he's
the right
the bad guy,
here?
guys. He's the bad guy.
You told us. Oh, that's funny. Um, Again, he clenched his jaw when they tried to force nitric acid, and he fought back. Had they succeeded, the poison would have burned his throat and ruined his voice, or probably killed him, it says. As it was, they succeeded only in knocking out one of his teeth and spilling the acid over his skin, severely burning him. How bad was the attack? They tore out a patch of his hair by the roots that never grew back. They injured his side in such a way that it pained him to the rest of his life, and they killed him. Joseph would later describe standing above his body and watching as the mob beat him and poured the acid over his face and neck. It's like that joke. My mom beat me so bad one time I died. Oh my God. That's
Dude,
terrible.
like I just like I can't even like my mind works in memes, but like the streets killed me. That's what that reminds me of.
Yep, it is. It is. Then a noise is heard, and the mob fled in fear, leaving Joseph upon the ground. Slowly, he regained consciousness. He tried to sit up, but couldn't. Unable to breathe, he pulled the tar from his mouth. After a time, he made his way home. His wife Emma stood in the doorway and fainted at the sight of him. Joseph asked for a blanket for cover and went inside by the fire. His friends spent the night peeling and scraping the tar from his body, sometimes taking off layers of skin with it. It made a lasting impression on mobbers and members alike when the next morning, the Sabbath, Joseph stood and meekly preached a sermon, following which he baptized 3 people. And about a week later, in obedience to revelation, Joseph set out for an extended visit to Missouri, and he would not give up. Why the mob? What was it that had so infuriated the locals, the ministers, doctors, and former friends who would join a mob to kill Joseph or at least silence him? There were many reasons, chief of which was a new revelation Joseph and Sidney had received the month before, the 3 degrees of glory, Doctrine and Covenants 76. The vision, light, and truth stir up darkness. It has ever been that way and still is. Don't expect anything different and don't give up. So these Mormons still love him. They think they pin him as a martyr here. Now we're going to go back, read what I was still reading. Okay. How
I
about
bet
that?
he wishes he had a Peter.
Oh, hey.
Peter had to like Jesus had to stop him.
Oh, a bunch. Yeah. Yeah. Peter, chill out. You could tell I was watching something on the Last Supper. Did I send you that one? Like the details that he put in the actual painting, that you could tell, but Peter's in there and he's like angrily leaning in to try to listen, but his hand is also reaching back towards like a dagger laying on the table, because he was first to always be like, yo, what's up, motherfucker? There's like little secrets in there like that.
The Roman guy who couldn't hear very well after he tried.
Yeah, lost his dang ear, huh? Let's see here. All right, so let's go to the attack. Okay, it's not somebody didn't like a preacher. It's frontier America when religious like innovation could feel threatening, unstable, and socially disruptive. New movements didn't always get answered with like pamphlets and debate, right? people would try to talk about things in these fucking Western towns, dude, and go to like fisticuffs in the saloons and shit, just like cowboys did.
Yeah,
And
because I mean, what'd you have? Like a church and a brothel in every town? That was
yes,
about it.
church, a brothel, and beer.
Yeah.
Right? Um,
The beer and
so
the brothel were in the same place a majority of the time.
yes, it was the same place, dude. Um, so we go through, right? They beat him and they do all this. They attack him during the night. Him and Sydney are beat the fuck up, dude. His account of why the event is historically stable, though, is the record, right? Joseph Smith gives his own account for it and why he thinks it happened, and then they use Sidney Rigdon as his witness, obviously the second witness who was beat the fuck up, and he like can confirm, hey, they're attacking because of his leadership in these covenants that he's tried to bring forward, the 3 degrees of glory, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Johnson home too, right? They witness all this shit, so they're able to like bring the controversy to light and document it and go through. So we know this event that happened was like a turning point in pushing of a religion. I mean, fundamentally Latter-day Saints, right? It's kind of what we see happening in Iran. We're fucking them up, and it's like they're not going to be on our side anymore. You've lost the people,
Yeah. Yeah.
by attacking them.
And like even when like say we did do it for like a regime change and to make it better for the people, like have you seen like the way that the Israeli people are handling that? They're like, no, we're killing you all. Like yeah, and we're on those guys' team. Yeah.
Even if we want to do what's right, Israel's like, nah, we're finishing it.
Yeah, yeah. It's
We're
so
gonna wipe
holy
them.
war to them, you know?
That's fucked up, dude. That's pretty crazy, dude. Think about like going to church the next day and Joseph Smith walks in tarred and fucking feathered. It just beat to shit.
How many do you think were like in his own congregation?
Oh yeah,
There had to be a couple.
it says his own friends from it did it. So I mean, purposely? Is that what you mean? Or
Yeah.
like a
Oh, yeah.
setup?
Yeah.
Or like a false flag?
I think it was like a setup almost, you know?
Yeah, me too. Like the power, and some people are jealous and want to divide it.
Yeah.
I still picture the gay guy fucking scratching him up. So, anywho, right? We've had the Great Escape, the Tom, Dick, and Harry tunnels, and then we got Joseph Smith tarred and feathered by a queer. These are events, March 24th. Here is the big one. I
got him, guys.
Here we go. Okay. 1985, March 24th. The Covenant, the Sword, and the Arm of the Lord, or as we'll say, CSA. They're a militia-style extremist organization based in the Ozarks and linked to white supremacist Christian identity ideology. Britannica describes it as a white supremacist militia group active in the late 70s and 80s, tied to crimes and terrorist plots. The Encyclopedia of Arkansas similarly describes them as a militia-style organization loosely affiliated with groups such as Aryan Nations and the Order. So, you ask Britannica, they're Nazis. You ask Arkansas,
They say that
they're just
ties.
hanging out. They're just hanging out with some white supremacists. They know old
But
Michael
like,
from
I
jail
mean,
over there or whatever.
if you have enough people and one dude's a white supremacist, are you hanging out with white supremacists or are they hanging out with you?
Exactly. Exactly.
Kind of like that's how like Trump becomes racist too, you know? Like, is he really racist or is it that he gets painted that way because of that shit? You know?
he did say like some pretty racist, like, oh, they're not American just because of their skin color about some
I
women
mean, he
Congress
said some
members,
racist
and
shit.
they were American.
Yeah,
he,
I remember
he like
that.
made them being like illegal Mexicans and stuff, and they were Americans in Congress here.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty racist. Is it though? I mean, if I look at a black guy, two okay, I'm gonna go here real quick. If I look at two black guys in a room, I can tell one's from fucking like Nigeria and one's from fucking Harlem. You know what I'm saying? You can
Yeah.
look at two white guys here, me and another dude, and you can put them right next to each other, and you can tell one's from South Africa and one's from Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even Denver versus freaking Briggsdale. You
Yeah.
know?
So I mean, was he racist to just call it out?
I mean, calling out a stereotype, is it racist?
Yeah, I guess. Stereotypes are what bothers people, right? If you bring in a stereotype, no matter how,
Well,
it's
then quit being
racist.
a stereotype.
Yeah, quit fucking being one. Yeah. Right? Shit. I'm still white trash. Call me it. What the fuck? I ain't doing nothing to change it. I own it.
Yep.
I can't get mad about it.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah. And then when somebody calls you up for it, yeah, that's exactly it. Like, like, what are you gonna do? Hate fried chicken?
So they operate, okay, a rural compound in the Ozarks, sometimes referred to as the farm. And it's connected to crimes and terror plotting in the 80s. Federal agents besieged the compound in 85. So we're going to get into that, dude. It's a 4-day siege, okay? But the founder of the Covenant Sword, right? Is that what I said it was? I said CSA now. Yeah. Covenant Sword and Arm of the Lord.
Are any dogs hurt in the making of this?
No, they didn't shoot
Okay.
nobody's fucking dogs.
Weird.
Right? Yeah, weird how you don't have to do that, huh?
Are federal agents?
Yeah, it wasn't ours. Who did he surrender? James Ellison, okay, he's the founder of the CSA, and he was jailed. I'll pull this over here so I can read it in front of me. He was jailed in federal prison along with Carrie Noble. Robert G. Millar became Ellison's spiritual advisors and founded Elohim City. Okay, that is a private community also in Oklahoma, and it's kind of started the same cultish from the one in the Ozarks. Anyway, founder of the Mountain Church of Jesus Christ and the Savior in Choctaw, Michigan. No, Cocococt, something like that. Cohotaa. There you go. That's it. Both extreme right-wing leaders taught and practiced the theology of Christian identity, a belief system which is included on the FBI's watch list of extremist religions. So, Christian identity, also known as identity Christianity, is an interpretation of Christianity which advocates the belief that only Celtic and Germanic people, such as the Anglo-Saxon, Nordic nations, or the Aryan race, are kindred peoples and descendants of ancient Israelites.
Came from Africa.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're way off.
Yeah, they called in sick that day, I think, in school. So Ellison, the guy who founded this, close ties to the Ku Klux Klan and Aryan nations.
It's just
and
this day of school ended up racist.
How's that happen? Yeah, that's how that happens. You get kind of just bullied into it, right? Let's see here. CSA assassins monitored the homes of their targets, bro. Practiced mock assassinations of these targets with scoped rifles and practiced attacks in a mock residential training facility, which was known as Silhouette City, the 224-acre property on Bull Shoals Lake in Marion County, Arkansas, that the CSA operated from until its collapse in 85 was purchased by Ellison from the Campus Crusade for Christ. Man, they get a little crazy, huh? The CSA, dude, they believe that doomsday was imminent, and the 224 compound became a community for its members. It trained in paramilitary operations. The group believed in white supremacy and was also anti-Semitic. Damn. You know, you can have everything going for you, but as soon as you're anti-Semitic, you're fucked.
Yeah, he could have got away with racist, but
Yeah. Semitic? Anti? Like other prominent anti-Semitic groups that believed in anti-Semitism tropes, it called the United States government ZOG, short for Zionist Occupied Government. All right, call me what you want, dude. I'm making a ZOG shirt. You want one? I'm doing it.
Isn't
I'm
that
doing
off
it.
of American History X too?
Is it?
Yeah.
All right, never mind. If it's close, if it's closely affiliated with white power, then I guess.
Yeah, you need to rewatch that movie.
Yeah, I do. ZOG can't be
learned a
that
lot.
bad. You're just calling the government Zionist occupied. Does that mean you're a racist?
Yeah, dude, you can't talk bad about that religion because it's a race.
Like 30 fucking
Like the
20
black people don't even get that protection.
like 20 fucking years ago, it wasn't racist or any problem when we were all white trash and government in charge. When George Bush was in charge, we were the retards. That was fine.
Yeah,
Now we can't be being run by Zionists.
we have been the whole time.
I know. Was George Bush? I don't know. I don't know what Bush was.
Probably not exactly, but I mean, the puppet. Just,
George Bush was way too damn racist to let any motherfucker
dude, the banks
Israel
own you.
tell him.
And who owns the banks? Yeah. I hate Kanye's music, but dude makes some points.
Yeah, they're just good at math too. That's not their fault. In 1982, the military leader of the group who ran its End Time Overcome Survival training camp and used the name Randall Raider during his stay at the compound left the group along with 30 of his followers in a rift with Ellison. Following the latter's attempt to take a second wife, and he joined the newly forming group, The Order, in Idaho, which was also known as Silent Brotherhood and was a neo-Nazi organization. 10 members were tried and convicted for racketeering. Yeah, so they're pretty weak. The CSA initially professed that the United States government would dissolve due to its corruption, whereas the Order advocated revolution. However, in July 1983, the CSA published a manifesto called Attack, Aryan Tactical Treaty for the Advancement of Christ's Kingdom, and it declared war on the government. That's how you start.
Yeah, where's that?
Starts with a manifesto. Attack? That's crazy. Why call it attack too?
What's taking so long?
Yeah. When are you going to fight the government?
Yeah.
Right?
Was Jan 6 it?
Yeah, that was it. So their property, they're squatting on the land, right? And they mount regular armed patrols in an attempt to intimidate the local sheriff, who continuously delays their evictions. Okay. The perimeter of the CSA's compound had 100 to 200 and a 300-yard indicator plates nailed to trees to allow the defenders to adjust their sights accordingly to engage attackers. We're just going to say for all y'all listening, for all y'all listening out there,
go out further.
yeah, but you should put markers around your neighborhood. You shouldn't put markers, but remember markers, you know?
Yeah,
be like, hey,
what you do. That's like
that stop sign's 100 yards. I need a
that's
rifle.
like part of your range table, right? You sit there and like draw like your trees over at like 50 yards and then draw your little mud hut And the dude fucking stacking his bricks, and his wife fucking up on the roof banging out some fucking sheets or whatever she's doing.
Yep.
His other wife downstairs cooking.
The central rallying point in the event of an attack was a concrete bunkhouse, and it housed communication radios next to a 95-foot tower, which was constructed for defense. The perimeter of the compound had built-in bunkers for 1 to 3 men, and each bunker was numbered as a post and assigned to individuals as an area of responsibility. These motherfuckers were training.
Yeah,
You don't
kind
give
of.
that
I
to
mean,
Colts. They train.
if you gotta mark out 100, 200, 300, I questioned your aim, but
Oh,
like
fair.
once you get like 3, 4, 5, 600, yeah, cool, mark some shit out. But I mean,
The line infantrymen that they used carried a Ruger Mini 14 223 Remington rifle. What is
good
that?
rifle.
I'm trying to think of what that is.
It's what the Popos used to have before they went to the AR platform.
The Mini
It's
14.
it's a basically a M14, but it has a folding stock. Some have
And
folding
the
stock,
long,
and then also it's a top eject too. It's more like
yes.
yeah, it's like almost like an AK kind of style with that. But yeah,
As in the early days of the United States Marine Corps, the squads were set up in 4-man fire teams. 1 man in each fire team carried a Heckler & Koch Model 9-1 rifle in 308 caliber. These rifles had been modified via a technique that the organization sold to brother groups, converting the rifles to an illegal selective fire weapon, either capable of single shots or fully auto. The members of the Elite A team wore black clothing, and they possessed some fairly sophisticated weapons, such as 22 caliber Ruger target pistols, which were filled with integral silencers, and several Mac 10 machine guns in both 9mm and 45 ACP. Also with attached suppressors for a Mac 10. That doesn't seem safe.
just it's a lot of go, and that's about it.
These men trained in the covert aspects of military action, and they were required to be the core of the defense initiative. The ATF later determined the CSA had obtained 150 Krugerrands. What is that? It is a South African coin, first minted on 1967, July 3rd, to help make South African gold. Weird.
So they're buying gold.
It's a former, its name, the name is a compound of Paul Kruger, the former president of the South African Republic, and ran the South African unit. Dude, the picture of him, he looks like a white supremacist. That's why they have those coins. They had, the CSA
Dude,
has
South
obtained.
Africa is racist as shit.
Oh, yeah. They kill
Like,
Christians too.
yeah.
1 live light anti-tank rocket they also had.
Huh.
You can't fucking, what are you going to do if you don't have the machine to fire it? They had 94 long guns, 30 handguns,
just had the
35
rocket?
sawed-offs. Yeah. Machine guns, heavy machine guns, and a quantity of C4 explosives. They ran their End Time Overcomer Surviving Training School. 1,500 like-minded Christian identity adherents in combat techniques and paramilitary exercises were trained. The facility was festooned with targets which crudely caricatured blacks, Jews, and police officers who wore the Star of David in lieu of badges. After they completed their training, newly trained militants would leave and join militia groups which are similar or found their own. Oh, wow. Here we go. In 1983, CSA members William Thomas, Richard Wayne Snell, and Stephen Scott attempted to dynamite a natural gas pipeline that crossed the Red River on its way from the Gulf of Mexico to Chicago. This attack was attempted as part of the group's attack operations. According to Kerry Noble, the group predicted that this terrorist attack would result in riots due to the fact that it would be perpetrated during the winter. However, the trio was unsuccessful in its attempt to carry out the attack. Go figure. How come they never get it right? You know, all this training.
Even if you did, like, how was it gonna be a fucking riot? Because
So
they don't
stupid.
have because they don't have natural gas for a couple days.
Yeah. Oh, that's stupid. So stupid. Okay. There's going to be a fucking siege here though, right? So on April 16th, 1985. So first off, the FBI claimed they always had at all times a rat in the CSA, right? But the hostage rescue team positioned around 300 federal agents in Elijah, where the town was at, or the compound. The operation needed to be kept secret, but doing so was not easy. However, the FBI agents took advantage of Pontiac being a common destination for anglers by pretending to be fishermen and registering at different motels near the various fishing destinations. So these motherfuckers got taken out by fishing.
Dude,
Yeah.
I want to be a federal agent and go pretend I'm fucking fishing all day.
Waiting? Yeah, dude, you're waiting.
Pretend I'm fishing all day. Like, what'd you see? Oh, dude, a lot of fish. Like,
Oh, that's funny. Let's see here. On the morning of April 19th, they moved in and surrounded the compound, putting some of their agents in fishing boats in an attempt to seal off the lakeside area of the compound. There they waited, and two guards emerged from the compound. They appeared to be unaware of the presence of the officers and walked towards a sniper holdout until an officer yelled commands to return to the compound to the guards, with which the guards complied. Later, an unnamed individual emerged from the compound, talked to the agents, and informed Ellison that the FBI agents were outside and willing to negotiate his surrender and the emptying of the compound. He emerged later, and the agents had expected that he would not go down without a firefight, but the negotiators convinced him that the CSA would certainly lose if a firefight broke out. When interviewed on March 9th, 1993 by KXAS5 News during the Waco standoff, Kerry Noble asserted that the CSA was expecting to be relieved by other far-right groups and acts of God. When neither manifested itself, the group's morale and willingness to resist was severely affected. So he left. It said Ellison wanted peaceful cooperation, asked for a spiritual advisor to come to the compound and instruct him. That's crazy. They quit because they didn't get an act of God.
yeah.
And all they get, dude, charged with illegal weapons possessions and racketeering. And in September of 85, Ellison, Kerry Noble, and four other members, Gary Stone, Timothy Russell, Rudy Lowen, and David Giles, were sentenced to serve lengthy federal prison terms. In an Arkansas federal court, a seventh member, Stephen Scott, pled guilty to charges that he dynamited a natural gas pipeline in 1983, and as a result, also went to prison. Yeah, so they did get a pipeline. 20 years
Did they
in
get
prison
their
for the
riot?
racketeering. Nope. Richard Wayne Snell, the man who shot and killed the police officer and a pawn shop owner, was sentenced to death. Wait, let's go back up here. I skipped it. Ellison received the maximum sentence of 20 years in prison after he was convicted on racketeering and weapons. However, in 87, he was released after he agreed to testify against the leader and 6 senior members of Aryan nations. All 7 men were arrested and indicted on charges of sedition. The jury found all the defendants not guilty on all the charges. Damn.
Dang. So they even had the guns and they didn't even get charged with it?
Yeah, because he flipped. Because he was a rat. Upon his release from federal prison, Ellison moved to Elohim City. Richard Wayne Snell, that's crazy, the man who shot and killed the police officer and a pawn shop owner, was sentenced to death by lethal injection, and he was killed on the day of the Oklahoma City bombing. Wow.
Which was because of basically Waco and Ruby.
There's several claims which state that the 1995 bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building was tied to the New Day teachings of Elohim City. Elohim City was assembled together prophets of the New Day. Robert G. Millar envisioned himself to be the shepherd of shepherds who was traveling to numerous alternative societies. Huh. That's crazy. Timothy McVeigh, who was convicted and executed for doing that, had no association with the CNA, and he had just enlisted in the Army when the compound was besieged and the CSA was broken up. The Oklahoma bombing, though, did occur exactly on the 10th anniversary of the start of the siege of the CSA's compound. That's pretty crazy.
What day was that?
The Oklahoma City bombing?
Yeah.
April 19th, 1995. Yeah. McVeigh had traveled to Waco during the 51-day siege, and he cited it and the siege at Ruby Ridge in 1992 as the events which motivated him to bomb.
Yeah, he was at both of those. That's crazy.
Dude, that is fucking wild, huh? Can't do that.
Nah.
That's crazy. And he was just pissed off. That's what Timothy McVeigh was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into fucking NATO and Yugoslavia. It's the last one I want to talk about. This one's crazy too. We're gonna go. That was the scale I kind of brought into play, like a compound. Now we're gonna go into like state scaling up. NATO, this is in 1999, dude, March 24th. NATO launched an air campaign against the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. NATO's own summary says all diplomatic avenues have been exhausted and that the campaign was launched against the Milosevic regime on March 24th. The ICTY committee report likewise dates the bombing campaign from March 24th to June of 1995. So let's get into that. Right here. Okay. Couple facts about this thing, dude. NATO publicly justified the campaign as the result of failed diplomacy and the need to respond to repression and ethnic cleansing in Kosovo. Fact 3. Hold on. We always feel the need to respond, right?
Mhm.
Except we didn't have NATO this time. It was fucking the US. Why didn't NATO go into Iran? Article 5. They're all being attacked.
Into Iran currently?
Yeah.
Oh, because fuck Trump. That's why.
It's so true, isn't it? That's crazy, dude. The conflict in Kosovo was already marked by grave human rights abuses before the bombing by NATO. OSCE and ICTY materials document killings, expulsions, shelling, looting, and forced removals affecting Kosovar Albanians. The bombing campaign itself later drew serious scrutiny over civilian casualties and legality in particular incidents. Human rights watchdogs documented around 500 civilian deaths that were verified. Amnesty argued that in some cases, NATO committed serious violations of the laws of war. Man, 500's nothing.
And rookies numbers.
Yeah. According to today, we're up to like 80,000 civilians in Gaza.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
Was that the
NATO,
plan? Get them something else to bomb besides Gaza for a while?
dude, it's gotta be, right? What the fuck is that about? Or let's see here. Let's look it up. Also though, like, you're bombing the fuck out of them because they were ethnically cleansing, so you're gonna kill civilians?
Yeah, I think
That doesn't seem to make sense. Right? That makes no sense.
help out the guys that you're trying to kill.
Right? The bombings continued until an agreement was reached that led to the withdrawal of the Yugoslav army from Kosovo and the establishment of the United Nations Interim Administration Mission in Kosovo, which was a UN peacekeeping mission. The official NATO operation codename was Operation Allied Force. The United States called it Operation Noble Anvil. And in Yugoslavia, the operation was incorrectly called Merciful Angel. Do you think it was incorrectly called because they lost?
Yeah, if it was correctly called, they would have won, right?
Fuck. It says here that maybe the Serbians just possibly mistranslated it, though. NATO's intervention, right? We decided to go in because of the ethnic cleansing of the Kosovar Albanians, which drove the Albanians into neighboring countries and had the potential to destabilize the entire region. Yugoslavia's actions had already provoked condemnation by international organizations and agencies such as the UN, NATO, and various international non-governmental organizational groups. Yugoslavia's rejection of the Rambouillet proposal, I hope I'm saying that right, which was an international diplomatic conference held at the Chateau de Rambouillet in France, and it attempted to resolve the problems in Kosovo. So it was like how they do now, right? You got the fucking Middle East trying to be solved by like Qatar and Saudi Arabia. It's so weird that countries aren't even involved or trying to solve it or talking, like they don't even include Ukraine when they're talking on peace talks for Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild to me. It's like, how does this work? Anywho, back to that. So they thought it had the potential to destabilize the region. Yugoslavia's rejection of that proposal was initially offered as justification for NATO's use of force, and NATO framed its bombing as a humanitarian intervention. But because Russia and China could use their veto within the Security Council to not authorize an external intervention, NATO launched the campaign without UN approval.
We always do.
I mean, why would they approve us? You're going to let us use our own fucking guns? Yeah, what do we need approval for? It's our shit.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you going to do? Tell us no?
Yeah. Okay.
You want some too?
Yeah, our jets aren't at the UN's house. They're at our house. The UN Charter prohibits the use of force except in the case of a decision by the Security Council under Article 42, 51, or 53.
Yeah, we break that thing more than anybody.
So some scholars see NATO's bombing as illegal under international law. By the end of it, dude, the Yugoslavs had killed roughly 2,000 combatants. 10,000 civilians, though, were killed or missing, and 85% of that was the Kosovar Albanians. And they expelled damn near 1 million of them from Kosovo.
Dude.
Yeah. Kicked them the fuck out. Dude, that's crazy, right? What was I going to say here too? So we
And China's just like, nah, it's cool.
yeah, 1 million people. China and Russia are like, nah, that ain't our problem.
We've done way bigger.
Yeah, right. Um,
Those are puny numbers
the NATO
compared to
bombings
what
killed,
Mao and Stalin did.
dude. Yeah, Stalin for sure, right?
Mao
Um,
hasn't beat, doesn't he?
what's he got? 60 million? Mao? 30 million. I did a whole thing on Mao Zedong, didn't I, for us? How can I not remember that? Yeah, the forced like government shit. I think it was like 30 million. Yeah, that he killed. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's way more.
yeah.
Because of the
Hitler
government.
only killed like 6.
Yeah, yeah. The Bolsheviks only killed like 30 million also. That's only
Yeah.
NATO's bombs in the
Didn't the
Kosovo and
Italians do some dirty shit too?
yeah, Benito Mussolini.
Yeah.
He was Stalin's man.
Nah.
Him and Stalin, but then they kind of turned on each other, right? And then Stalin was killed, and then Mussolini and his whole family were hung from the streetlight, like for everybody to see him, his wife, everybody.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, though. Sorry,
Yeah, that's how you,
Melania.
yeah. No, that's how you make a good example.
Imagine being Trump's like other 4 wives. We're like, we got to hang you up too. Or does he have 3?
Did you hear that
5 kids, 3
Iran's
wives.
threatening to release Trump's fucking like videotapes supposedly? That they have videotapes of Trump.
Yeah, they should.
Just
They
saying, if they
absolutely should.
exist, like, why are you holding back? You know,
Because you thought you
Israel
weren't going
does
to be
too.
bombed. You thought you weren't going to be bombed. You don't have big guns, right? So it's the only choice you got.
Israel will let theirs go if he doesn't.
Oh yeah.
So
So
either way,
you pick the weak one, you can kill before.
yeah, team up with Team Israel.
Yep. Um, NATO killed 1,000 members of the Yugoslav security forces and about roughly 500 civilians. In typical NATO fashion, we destroyed bridges, industrial plants, hospitals, schools, and cultural monuments, as well as barracks and military installations. So we're pretty good at being like, oh, sorry.
Whoops.
Oh, was that a school of women and children? Be
You
a
know what's
shame.
crazy is you blow all that shit up and then our tax money rebuilds it for them.
And then the people hate us because you did it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. They're like, we don't want a regime that bombs women and children.
All right,
In
we don't want
total,
any of your shit. And they just blow up the shit you just bought them.
yep. In total, between 9 and 11 tons of depleted uranium was dropped across all of Yugoslavia because of it, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's what a lot of our rounds are.
It's also referred to as Q metal or deplete alloy.
Yeah, it sharpens itself as it goes through shit.
Yep. That's pretty tight though, huh? In the
That's like
days
what
after,
like the tank shoot.
yes,
Basically.
yes, it looked like a big tank round. In the days after the Yugoslav army withdrew, over 165,000 Serbs and 25,000 Romas left Kosovo. Many of the remaining non-Albanian civilians, as well as Albanians perceived as collaborators, were victims of abuse, which included beatings, abductions, and murders. So even after it was done, they still fucking waxed them, huh?
Dang.
After Kosovo and other Yugoslav wars, Serbia became home to the highest number of refugees and internally displaced persons. So Serbia, little note off this, pretty much fucking exists in that shit because of our bombing of Yugoslavia.
It was nice of us.
Which who's in Yugoslavia right now? Or what type of people were those that became the Serbians?
fucking Russians, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like the Yakut are Russians too, but they're Asian, like Mongol looking,
Yeah.
because they're in that eastern
Yeah,
far
that's how
fucking.
Russia gets tied into the Asian side.
Hmm. The Mongols. So I mean, I don't know. It's weird to me.
It
It's
is.
like how many people in Serbia, the refugees, have now become like the population for Serbia, but they're really Kosovo Serbs now.
Yeah.
Like they're really Yugoslavians. They're Slavians or whatever, Yugos. But
Isn't that
Yugoslavia
what
doesn't
he's
exist,
making
right?
out of that white powder on Lord of War?
Yeah. Yeah. Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
The whole country. He's like, I remember it.
I'm gonna start.
Yeah, he remembers the city. Uh, um, the bombing was NATO's second major combat operation following the 1995 bombing campaign in Bosnia and Herzegovina. It was the first time that NATO used military force without the expressed endorsement of the UN Security Council. So,
Yeah,
although
when did
we
we add China though?
although we had used it before, dude, like we still weren't supposed to, which is
Like,
crazy.
when did we add China though? Because like, were they like, hey, you guys should go get in Vietnam, yeah, and then fight us there?
When did we add China? Because they didn't like us during this, probably.
No, they haven't
They
liked
were
us the whole time. I don't know why they're on the UN.
China's part of the UN? No way.
Didn't you just say that they didn't give us approval?
Yes, I did. That's right. China and Russia, huh? The only This is bullshit. China's a member of the United Nations and holds a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. The People's Republic of China has represented China in the UN since October 1971 when it replaced the Republic of China, Taiwan, as a recognized representative. So they're in by default.
They're in by default, and then they say no, and then they're like, "Oh, this is
And
the first time the Security Council said
yeah,
no." Like,
yeah,
yeah, that no, it's the first time the Security Council wouldn't agree because we had China in it.
yeah, fuck you, China. China is
Like, no,
asshole.
we don't agree. Like, of course you don't. You're on the other team.
Yeah. So end of March there, it's cool. It's got some like points in history I think that matter.
Mhm.
Four things. Like the Nazi POW camp is like buried labor, and it's still something very heavy that drew like the ability to not give up. It's a great story on that, and it's like the most famous one. March 24th gave us that. Or March 24th gives us enough of Joseph Smith's bullshit. I think it's a turning point too for religious freedom. We're tar and feathering you, motherfucker. Um, and apocalyptic, you know,
When was
covenant
Easter
sword and
that
Lord of
year?
the Arm. Easter in which year?
The year that he got fucking tarred and feathered.
Oh my gosh. When was he tarred and feathered? When did I say that? 83? No. 1832? Is that it? Come on, you got to help me remember here.
I don't remember numbers
I,
that well.
I guess I could pull up the tarring and feathering of Joseph Smith I just read. March 25th, 1832. So, what day was Easter in 1832 is what we got to figure out.
Yeah.
All right. That's something we can do. Ready for this?
April 22nd.
What day was it?
Mm-hmm.
April 22nd?
Yeah. I feel like that's late, no?
That's late as fuck. It's this weekend.
No.
It's like April 5th. That's not the first Sunday in fucking April. Yeah, you're fucking with me. Although the Gregorian calendar and that shit started changing right around then. So maybe you're right. You know? Fuck.
Yeah, I've like couple
Sunday, April
April
22nd.
25th, and this is
What? You're not wrong. It was literally
Dang.
April 22nd.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I thought
It's real
there might
fucked
be
up.
some correlation onto why they decided that day to.
They didn't. They didn't give two shits.
Well, it just happened to be in town.
The church's equinox was treated as March 21st. The relevant Paschal full moon fell late in April. Then Easter had to wait for the next Sunday. Wow. Western Easter can fall anywhere from March 22nd to April 25th. Late full moon plus next Sunday. So hold on.
We go into the full moon for
For
Jesus.
Easter? Right. I'm glad you and I both are just on the same thing right here. We're waiting for. Why does it?
Oh, we just found our next episode.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple,
I know.
but I
That's
am going to figure
interesting.
this one out. This is crazy. We should have BK on for this one, but then I don't know if we have 4 hours for that either.
Breaking down why Easter is random.
Passover's
Basically.
tied to the lunar month. Jesus' death and resurrection happened during Passover. Dude, yeah, we're going to fucking get into this shit, how it's
Yeah,
tied to
you're
lunar.
worshiping the moon again
Yeah.
with that.
Don't put my boy on the moon here. That shit's
Mhm.
fake.
Yeah,
That shit's
yeah.
fake as fuck.
That's the moon guys. They're on the other side of the world.
Supposedly
Apparently,
Artemis is launching tomorrow.
We'll see.
What's tomorrow?
The April Fools.
Yes, sir. Sure, you're going to the moon on April Fool's Day with your giant phallus. Seems weird. April
Winky.
Fool's, my dick's big.
Winkier.
Yeah. Anywho, we're the End of Days best friends. March 24th. What you know about that date? Yeah, you don't know a whole lot, huh? You 4 more things educated though now. That's for damn sure. Right? And with that being said, we're the End of Days best friends.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Michael. And join us for the next one. And seriously, TikTok and fucking subscribe to the YouTube. We're handing out stickers like dollar bills on strippers' booties. Join us for the next one, folks.
If you don't first subscribe, press your head.